Hi, I'm Alex, your go-to expert on all things Chrome Browser Cloud Management. Chrome Browser Cloud Management acts as the single destination for managing and customizing browser policies, settings, and extensions across Chrome browser, regardless of OS, device, or location. Today we're going to discuss some best practices for migrating your browser management to Chrome Browser Cloud Management. One of the most common questions I get from customers is, what do we do with our previous group policy or manage preference configuration for our platforms? There are a few ways you can approach setting up migrations, but the first prerequisite for any migration is a good organizational unit structure. To minimize the complexity, an IT admin should think about doing an OU structure based on use case, geolocation, department structure, or a combination of those. We also recommend that most settings are not configured at the company OU level, and they separate users and machines in their own respective units. This allows for a better separation of user versus machine policies and prevents policy complications later where admins unnecessarily need to override settings. Here's an example OU structure: company, users, computers, developers, admins, employees, executives. We will only focus on machine OUs for the rest of this demo, but keep in mind that if at some point you choose to purchase Google Cloud Identity licenses, you'll be able to build dynamic browser configurations that change based on the user that signs in the browser profile itself, and you'll be able to keep the machine configurations the same across the company. There are only two settings we recommend that an admin sets at the company OU. Those are enabling cloud reporting policy, so the browser can report their inventory, and changing the reporting frequency to a desired value. The default is 24 hours, but the admin can change it to as low as 3 hours. Now that we covered the OUs and prerequisite policies, let's discuss a few migration approaches you can take. Let's start with the first approach: gather data, then move settings. Once you have the OUs in place, you do not set any other policies other than cloud reporting and frequency. You deploy the enrollment tokens to their respective machines and let the browser start reporting into the console. This will give you an inventory of all the extensions in the environment, which is useful, especially if you are not blocking all extension installs. Once that's done, you start configuring the policies in the admin console based on what was set up in group policy. You can also start configuring extension settings as needed. Once you have all the settings in place, you use our presence policies to change the primary from group policy to cloud. As long as the settings in the admin console mirror what you have in GPO, the user will never notice anything when the precedence is flipped. Once the precedence is updated, you can then slowly start clearing your GPO policies. The second approach we suggest taking is a full cutoff. Just as before, you need to have your OUs in place. The difference now is that you have all settings in place in the admin console. You can either replicate your GPO settings, or you can start from scratch with a new configuration. This does allow you to make drastic changes to your extension policies. For example, let's say that you want to start blocking all extensions except for the approved ones. This approach might minimize the amount of changes, but it has the highest initial impact for the users. And as expected with that, you might need ample heads up to communicate that to the users. So there you have it, two different approaches on how to move all your browsers from a legacy management approach into our modern cloud-based Chrome Browser Cloud Management. To learn more on this topic, check out our website or get in touch with an expert. We hope to connect soon. Happy browsing!